Welcome to the 2020 Business Insurance Innovation Awards. My name is Keith Kenner, publisher of Business Insurance. Our Innovation Awards recognizes leadership, inventiveness, and ingenuity in products and services designed for risk management professionals. We're celebrating our 11th consecutive year of Innovation Awards, and we are delighted to have you with us. This year, we received a record number of nominations. We believe this not only illustrates the value of this award within the industry, but also shows the increasing importance innovation technology play in providing real working solutions for risk professionals and their companies. So, a special congratulations to all of our 2020 Innovation Award winners. While we are certainly missing our live event and getting together with all of our winners, sponsors, colleagues, and friends this September, we are taking this opportunity to bring you a live online panel discussion featuring industry experts from some of our award winners, while also showcasing and learning more about all of our 2020 Innovation Award winners in video format. Profiles of all of our 2020 Innovation Award winners will appear in our Innovation and Technology issue out this week, and also on our website, businessinsurance.com. Please be sure to check it out. Our panel discussion topic, Innovation Amid a Global Health Crisis, will focus on pandemic-related issues risk managers are facing and how the industry is helping them overcome many of these challenges. Looking forward to that live discussion and also the Q&A. Please be sure to submit your question to our industry experts before the Q&A portion begins. I'd now like to thank our 2020 Innovation Award sponsors, Aon, Paradigm, Chubb, AXA XL, Origami Risk, and Corvell Corporation. A sincere thanks to all of our sponsors. Now, sit back, relax, turn off your phones, and enjoy the 2020 Innovation Awards ceremony. Thanks for watching.
Hello, I'm Gavin Sousa, the editor of Business Insurance. And before we meet our winners, I'd like to give you a little background on the Innovation Awards. We started the program 11 years ago to shine a spotlight on all the innovative work that was going on in the insurance and risk management sector. In that time, we've recognized more than 100 winners, and the winning entries have come from all over the industry and ranged from products devised by global insurers and brokers to startup tech firms that have just a handful of employees. What they all have in common is new, out of the ordinary ideas about how to help risk managers do their jobs better. One of the distinctive features of the program is that all of the entries are reviewed and scored by the people they are designed to help, that is, professional risk managers. So I'd like to thank this year's judges for all the time and effort that they put in. Encouraging and applauding innovation in the insurance sector is more important this year than ever, as everybody strives to cope with all the challenges that the pandemic has brought upon us. And as you will see from several of the entries, companies in the sector have geared up to help risk managers deal with the problems. As Keith said earlier, you can read all about the winners in our special Innovation and Technology edition of Business Insurance, which is available now. Now, we asked all our winners to put together a short video about their winning products and services. So let's hear what they had to say about their teams and their innovations.
Today's complex, fluid environment requires rapid decisions, proactive leadership, and deep insight. C-suite leaders need a united strategy to protect people and assets and plan for the future. Aon, better decision-making for today and tomorrow.
Hello, I'm Stephanie Prunk, and I'm representing the Aon United team responsible for Integrated Analytics Intelligence, or as we refer to it, IAI. First, I'd like to thank Business Insurance. We are grateful for this recognition and award. And you know what? It really feels good to have tangible data to suggest that what we're bringing to the market is good and innovative. For us, innovation means re-envisioning how we integrate and understand data in order to reinvent strategy and program design, as well as benchmarking for future evaluation. The science behind IAI is straightforward. First, it connects business data, including productivity, health, and risk, at a person-centric level to create an aggregate population view. Next, it identifies the top 3 drivers that are impacting business results both positively and negatively. Then it creates profiles for the population with each of the 3 drivers and allows for the analysis of the population with all of the drivers. This approach enables us to focus on the interrelationship of data to create a more dynamic and complete picture. From there, we have the opportunity to create solutions focused on treatment, risk reduction, and prevention. Within each solution, metrics are developed to provide ongoing information around impact. Based on all solutions selected, we calculate potential cost savings impacting overall business results. The power of this analytic approach not only brings together integrated business data, but also brings together organizational leaders from risk, health, and human capital. This allows our clients to jointly create the synergies needed to improve health and business outcomes. Because if there's one thing we know about innovation, it's all about working together. Thank you. And again, we look forward to learning and leading with all of you.
On behalf of all of us at Chubb, I want to thank Business Insurance for their leadership in recognizing our industry's innovations. Ongoing innovation fuels our industry and the business of risk management. Worldview and Business Insurance have a great history together. Our digital platform first won BI's Innovation Award nearly a decade ago in 2011. Now, as we celebrate Worldview's 10-year anniversary, we're pleased to have our platform recognized once again. Here's a look at where we are today, with Worldview fulfilling its promise of revolutionizing insurance program management for the Chubb customers all the world over.
I want to join Matt in thanking Business Insurance for this recognition. As I think that video made clear, this award does not just belong to Chubb, but also to the hundreds of clients and brokers whose insights and feedback have driven many of Worldview's enhancements over the years, and most recently provided the spark for cutting-edge features like our policy translation solution. Worldview's ability to support collaboration, touchless transactions, account servicing, and program transparency has never been more valuable. And you can expect many more good things to come for our clients and brokers from Worldview. Thank you.
Hello, this is Kevin Turner, CEO of Paradigm Catastrophic Care Management. It's an honor to accept the Business Insurance Innovation Award for Paradigm Contagion Care for COVID-19. In March, my Chief Operating Officer, Kathy Gallia, came to me and made the case that we needed and we must do something that underscores that no one else in the industry is better positioned to address the complexities associated with COVID-19, or for that matter, any other future pandemic. With that said, let me introduce you to Kathy Gallia to elaborate. Kathy?
Thanks, Kevin. It truly is an honor, and I'm proud of the team here at Paradigm. We had the doctors on staff with specialties such as pulmonary, cardiac, infectious disease, and behavioral health. And we were seeing the sickest COVID patients mirror our catastrophic injured workers in terms of their rehabilitation needs and recovery. We were able to apply our systematic care approach as well as leverage our data. I'd like to highlight one injured worker's story. It's my privilege to introduce the Paradigm team that is managing a great recovery for this frontline essential worker.
COVID affects every body system and affects it acutely in the short term and affects it in the long term. And Paradigm is situated quite nicely to be able to manage these very sick, multi-system involved patients and get them through their acute phase and manage them through their chronic phase till they get back on their feet and return to their previous employment.
Paradigm's COVID-19 solution was used to manage the injured worker's case. He had significant complications related to his infection and was ventilator dependent for a significant length of time. Paradigm developed several comprehensive COVID-19 training courses, which were used by the team to quickly and effectively manage the COVID-19 cases.
One of the issues that came up for the injured workers was a new level of anxiety that he'd never experienced. So one of the things we do is kind of a non-medical approach to support where people feel really open enough to share about their feelings and emotions and what's going on inside.
We were able to move the injured worker directly to acute rehab, which was very crucial to his recovery. To see his smile and to hear his laugh and to see him get up out of bed when he was barely moving and vent dependent it was a huge win for him and for his family.
Thank you, Paradigm Management Team, for telling that incredible story and the journey of one of our patients.
Good evening, everyone. My name is David Lupinski, and I'm over the telehealth initiatives at Corvell. On behalf of Corvell and the telehealth department, we wanted to extend our gratitude for this prestigious award. We really are both humbled and honored to be part of such a distinguished group. As COVID-19 has pushed virtual care to the forefront, we hope that it will be remembered as the silver lining of this tragic event, as the benefits of telehealth are realized far beyond just mitigating the spread of the disease. Instead of listening to me tell you about our program, we thought it'd be best to show you. I hope you enjoyed this short video, which we feel tells the story of our program. Thank you again and enjoy.
In the typical workers' compensation model, care begins after an adjuster makes a determination around compensability. Are you sure this is work-related? Was it witnessed? At Corvell, we have redefined intake for workers' compensation by separating care management from claims management and providing immediate access to care through telehealth. At Corvell, the claims process starts with an injured employee immediately speaking with a triage nurse who assesses the extent of the injury to ensure they get the right level of care at the right time.
I'm so sorry that happened to you. Let me ask you some more questions so we can get you taken care of as quickly as possible.
With Corvell's fully integrated model, for patients requiring more than self-care, the medical information and patient data flows from triage to telehealth immediately, minimizing lag time and avoiding employee frustration by not having to repeat questions they have already answered. Within seconds of the referral to telehealth, the physician is provided information gathered from the nurse and is able to see patients within 10 minutes of arriving at the virtual waiting room.
I see from the nurse's notes you hurt your elbow.
To provide a virtual clinic experience and to manage more than just the initial episode of care, following completion of the telehealth visit, all of the data flows back to Corvell's system, CareMC Edge, to schedule any needed ancillary services.
I can see from the notes that our telehealth provider requested PT. Can I get that scheduled for you today?
At Corvell, we don't believe in early intervention, we believe in immediate intervention. With our new intake model and the power of CareMC Edge, our claims team and all stakeholders can be alerted in real time. That's immediate intervention.
I'm pleased to accept the Business Insurance Innovation Award on behalf of the Hartford for its development and execution of the Hartford Global Online system. Hartford Global Online is a cloud-based portal that brings together underwriters, clients, and broker partners into a collaborative environment that's connected to the Hartford Global Insurer Network, an 89 partner network that gives us local capability in over 220 countries. And it's interesting, when we talk about innovation in insurance, we're usually thinking and talking about Insurtech firms that are disruptive, that come in and do things that usually aren't able to be done in large companies. The Hartford Global Online system is a great example of one of the established insurance companies in the US bringing true innovation to the market, and really having the scale and the wherewithal and the capabilities of a large company in this global context is absolutely necessary in order to bring excellence to customers here. I would like to thank our cross-functional teams across the Hartford who helped to develop and continue to manage this system. I'd like to offer a special thanks to our CEO, Chris Swift, and our President, Doug Elliott, for their leadership and inspiration and drive to inspire us to do our best to bring a true global perspective to our customers and bring the best of the Hartford to our customers wherever they operate around the world. Special thanks to Business Insurance for this recognition. This is really the beginning of the journey for us, and we thank you very much for recognizing us.
I'm Christian Schiavone, Director of Professional Services Risk Solutions at Origami Risk. On behalf of all of Origami, I'd like to say thank you to Business Insurance for the 2020 Innovation Award. To be recognized with a Business Insurance Innovation Award is tremendously humbling and validates one of our core cultural values: put clients first. In early March, with COVID-19 infection rates on the rise, growing disruption in both the public and private sectors, and shutdowns looming on the horizon, it became increasingly clear that the organizations we support would all be impacted and would need to adjust and adapt. Our service professionals had conversations with our clients to determine how the specific challenges they were facing could be addressed with the help of a suite of solutions configured in Origami. We used what we learned in these discussions as we began to focus in on key areas we needed the software to address. This led, over the span of a couple of weeks, to the creation of the COVID-19 Digital Solution Suite, which is comprised of the following features: GIS mapping integration, employee exposure and incident tracking, disaster recovery plans, and location impact surveys. The first solution in Origami's COVID-19 Digital Solution Suite is GIS mapping integration. This is a map integration that already existed in Origami, but was expanded in the suite to include data sources that show overlays of infection rates, actual client sites, and additional details. The second solution is employee exposure and incident tracking. This tool provides our clients with a way to more easily track employees who've been exposed or potentially exposed to COVID-19. It also includes automations in the workflow that notify key parties involved in tracking these exposures. The third solution is the disaster recovery plan. This feature gives clients the ability to configure a disaster recovery plan that includes facility contacts, emergency contacts, and utility shutoff information for each of the organization's locations. Finally, the fourth solution deployed in the suite is the Location Impact Survey. This feature allows clients to create location impact surveys that are accessible via an online portal to the designated individuals at specific locations who are responsible for keeping leadership and risk management teams informed regarding the status of operation at their respective sites. These have been trying times for us all. We at Origami Risk recognize that we are exceptionally fortunate to be able to continue to do what we do best. Work closely with our clients to provide technology solutions that help them to solve their most challenging problems, and as a result, have a real-world impact. We are humbled and very grateful to have received the Business Insurance 2020 Innovation Award. Thank you.
Welcome to the 2020 Business Insurance Innovation Awards virtual event and our panel discussion, Innovation Amid a Global Health Crisis. Thank you for everyone attending live, as well as those who will be tuning in on demand later. I'd like to introduce myself as your moderator today. My name is Jennifer Reno. I'm the Global Risk Manager for QVC. A few housekeeping items before we start. I'd like you to use the chat feature to submit all questions for the panelists, as well as any tech issues. There will be time for a brief Q&A at the conclusion of the presentation. A recording of the event will be available after the event concludes. At this time, I'd like to introduce my panel. I'd ask Justin Gress to kick us off.
Thanks, Jennifer. My name is Justin Gress. I am the Director of Strategic Operations for AXXL's North America insurance business. My role is to lead strategic initiatives with our corporate leadership team focused on things such as innovation, efficiency, and customer-related projects and initiatives. Based in Chicago, pleasure to be here today and look forward to your questions.
Thanks, Justin. Can I ask Bob to introduce himself next?
Sure. Hi, everyone. I'm Bob Petrie, and I'm President and CEO of Origami Risk. I founded Origami about 10 years ago with my partners, Tim, Steve, and Linus, with a focus on risk and safety. We are 100% SaaS and cloud, which is a very efficient business model for software vendors and their customers. And it's the efficiency of our model that allows us to focus on innovation instead of maintenance of an aging platform. That's one of the reasons why we believe we're a 4-time winner now. Thank you, Business Insurance, in the last 9 years.
Great. Thanks, Bob. Sean, can I ask you to introduce yourself next?
Yes, good afternoon. I'm Sean Reset. I'm the Chief Digital Officer for Chubb. And pleasure to be here, and I look forward to the discussion.
And we're also going to be joined by Stephanie Pronk from Aon. She's just having a couple of technical issues right now. So I think we will start with our questions. And if Stephanie joins us, we'll have her do a quick intro. So our first question is, what have been some of the top challenges of getting business done during the pandemic? And again, I'm going to lean on Justin to lead us off here.
Sure. Thanks, Jennifer. Well, it's interesting. AXXL migrated to Microsoft Teams shortly before the pandemic began. So it was obviously not planned, but good timing on our part, because that was just another weapon in our arsenal to connect both internally and externally. Our workforce was prepared to go completely remote, as many others likely on this call were. We found ways to be responsive. We found ways to be creative through this. It started with RIMS. Doing a virtual RIMS this year wasn't something that AXXL or anybody planned to do, right? and being able to pivot and actually, in the end, do many more meetings over a period of time than what we would have been able to conduct in person. And being able to meet with more customers is a very important thing. What I also saw from our team was creativity. We've faced a lot of challenges being remote as everybody's in the same camp, but being able to find ways to connect with our customers and brokers. I attended my fair share of virtual happy hours, which were great at the beginning, but we also found other constructive ways to connect, both internal and external education.
That's great. Sean, I'd ask you if you have any input on the question as well.
Yes, plenty of challenges, right? It's really been, defining event. I think it will be for our generation, and it's deeply touched so many people and still playing out. As Justin said, suddenly we found ourselves having to adjust and work remotely. I think much is put on the technology, being able to work remotely, but we put a significant amount of effort in on the well-being side, the people side, making sure our employees are safe, families are safe, and mental health. So that's been a significant part. Just making sure our people are safe and in a good place, so to speak. And then it's really been about our customers and how do we address our customer needs. Clearly we can't travel. We can't travel to a work site. I think what that's done is accelerated technology solutions. And so, for example, we've installed remote monitoring at construction sites to make sure activities are safe, and remote facility monitoring as well through IoT sensors and monitoring for water and other perils. And Justin mentioned the RIMS. I'll give another example of some of the outreach that we've done to our customers. Very, very simple, low-tech effort that's gone down very well, where we personally reached out to clients and brokers regularly over the course of the year, just to check in on partners and families. And that's unrelated to any business initiative or claim. It's just really a personal check to stay connected. And we've made over 1,000 contacts that way. And, we've had to develop, in an evolving landscape, risk mitigation advice. As an example, as the CDC come out with new guidance, making sure for a particular client, right, that they're able to make sure that their operations and their facilities are clean. So it's very much been a story of, I think, being very, very adaptive and making sure that we can stay relevant, stay connected to our customers in terms of their well-being and their premises. A couple of others I would just add to the list in terms of challenges, right? We think about on the regulatory front, and as an industry, we've really moved very quickly in areas such as remote inspections, electronic processes, e-payments, and so on. And that's really been long overdue, frankly, right, in the insurance industry. The state regulators have been very helpful in terms of making sure that we can do these things while respecting the laws. And I think the challenge will be, and the work effort will be, to make sure that those changes are permanent and just really changing the mindset. It's interesting that you have to opt in for e-transactions. We're still very reliant on paper as an industry, and clearly COVID has highlighted the need to be digital. And sure, there'll be clients that want to use paper, but maybe we could make paper an opt-in. So I think this is just the start of the debate on the regulatory front. And another one I just closed with is the legislative front. Right? A lot of movement, a lot of changes in various state jurisdictions when you look at negligence, when you look at presumption, and the workers' comp. So just keeping abreast of that and just making sure we're on top of that and working with our clients to make sure that we both have a complete and full understanding around changes in legislation.
That's great. Thanks, Sean. I really appreciate it. I think we have Stephanie back with us. Stephanie, can you hear us?
I can hear you. Can you hear me?
We can. Stephanie, Yay! I just want to go a little bit out of order here. Stephanie, if you don't mind introducing yourself as a member of our team.
Sure.
Thank you.
Sure. Hi, I'm Stephanie Pronk. I am a Senior Vice President and lead Aon's Health Transformation team. And it's a real pleasure to be here and to be part of this panel. And sorry for the real world technology issues. It seems like it's been my entire day today. I'm sure all of you can relate to that. So Jennifer, back to you.
Thank you, Stephanie. I actually want to put you on the spot a little bit, Stephanie. So my next question is, how have the market and risk managers responded to those challenges? So we were just talking a little bit, Stephanie, about, the enhanced use of technology and the difficulty in connecting with customers and clients because of travel restrictions, because of the pandemic and other things. So any insights you have would be great.
Sure. I think what, COVID's done for all of us is it made us work differently. It's made us think about how to do things differently. And I think those who are flexible in being able to do that have still been able to connect, still been able to sell business. But I think the other thing that's important here is that we had to switch, and we had to look at how do our products and services actually meet what employers needed right then and there when COVID first hit. And I think as many of the examples of the award winners today, people stepped up and did a lot around COVID-19 to support it, but then also looking, forward into the future in terms of how do we help continue business continuity, as well as making sure that children are educated in a continuity way that will be our future workforce. So I think there's just a lot of opportunity here for us to think differently, try some different ways of going about this, and staying as close as we can to our clients.
Absolutely. I echo your thoughts, Stephanie, 100%, and kind of harking back to something that Sean said. I think that, building relationships has always been a cornerstone of our industry. And I think the fact that people aren't afraid to sort of reach out and connect personally just to check on everyone else has been wonderful as well. So I'm going to jump to my next question. So how digitized is the insurance market now, and what further changes will it need to make? So I'm going to start with Bob on this one. Bob?
Oh, thanks, Jennifer. Well, the insurance market is digitized in the sense that brokers, insurance companies, and TPAs all have computers and use them. Policies are rated and generated, and claims are handled in electronic systems rather than a paper. But the insurance industry lags behind many other industries in developing industry-wide technology standards and efficient ways to share and use information broadly between insurer, broker, and insured. Here's a couple of examples. Insureds often have open claims at multiple insurance companies and TPAs, but there's no standard layout or code set that would make integrating data easy and cheap. Remiss vendors have made combining this data set possible, but it's expensive. One example of that is TPAs charge between $12,000 and $15,000 a year for a daily feed. It's just data moving from one place to another. That costs pennies in many other industries, and it's very expensive in ours. And many insurance companies don't offer daily feeds at all, and some offer their claims data only as a PDF, not in data form. So, they have computers, but they export that data to their customers in either as paper or images of paper, or as data that can't really be readily consumed by their customers and by the supply chain. Another example is binder and policy data. So LineSlip, another innovation winner here on the call, has solved the problem with technology. But again, it's not as fast or efficient as actually providing binder and policy data to customers as data as opposed to a piece of paper or an image. Certificates of insurance, again, there's data embedded in those documents. It can be pulled out using OCR. But again, it's imperfect and it just slows the process down. So the insurance industry has got to put its head together around how to work together and build standards and processes that allows us to share information much more efficiently. And regrettably, in the 25 years that I've been in this space, there's been very little progress on that space, except in personal lines, which is not really our area of focus or the focus of most of folks here on the call.
That's great, Bob. I really appreciate that insight. Justin, would you have any insight into that question as well?
I do, and I agree with Bob. I mean, digitization has to continue. The industry has to pick up the pace. And I think over the last several months, we've seen, more and more customers and even our work internally progress even quicker because of the need to be more digitized. I kind of think of it in terms of one of our XXL initiatives, which is payer to partner, really going from being a payer of claims to a partner with our customers. And we're doing that by focusing on our customers' biggest business challenges and trying to find a way to connect with them via new services. We recently launched an ecosystem in our construction business unit in North America focused on connecting a variety of these different insurtechs and construction techs in one spot. And I think it's also very important that everyone in this industry tries to find a way to be relevant, right? The carrier, the broker, and all the different exciting services that are out there. One way we're doing that is through that ecosystem and trying to connect our customers in an effective and efficient way. And it's all digital. So I think there's a lot of exciting things going on out there. And we're just beginning to see them. And because of the current environment, we're seeing things even pick up more pace than what they were before.
That's excellent. I really appreciate that. Anybody else on the panel have something they'd like to add in terms of the digitization of the insurance market?
Say that 3 times fast.
This is Stephanie, and the one thing that I would add is that I think, when you talk about digital and you talk about technology, it isn't always about digitizing everything. It's also looking at how you use different technologies to be able to bring services to our clients or to their employees. And I think one of the things that we found in the health space with COVID is that the ability to change the way that care is brought to the market in terms of using, telemedicine, in terms of actually having video chats with providers. The one thing that it opened up really wide was the fact that prior to COVID, mental health counselors could not do things video, and they couldn't do it across state lines. And these barriers all came down, which really gave people a lot more access to being able to continue their therapy and their treatment in a different way. And I think that is a technology and an advancement that has been very positive, for at least the healthcare space and for risk managers in the healthcare space as well.
I just want to remind everybody in the audience that we'd love to see your questions for the panel. We have some really incredible industry experts here who are open and willing to answer any of your questions. So, including probably their favorite, COVID lockdown recipe, cocktail. So, I think we'll skip on to our next question. So, and this one I think is very timely for a lot of people, including myself. What can risk managers do to better market their programs during the pandemic as well as the hard market? So this one I'm going to throw to Sean first. Sean?
Thank you. I'll try. I think the risk landscape is just changing so fast today. So I think first and foremost, every risk manager has to be so engaged with the carrier and the broker, and we're all communicating with up-to-date information on what's happening in the organisation and what's been done to mitigate risks. There's some examples where I think risk managers really need to be very focused. And take cyber as an example, whether it's on the commercial or even on the personal side, employee side. We've been giving information in a number of areas about cyber. You think about the current landscape, everybody working remotely, remote working operations. You think about individual security and cyber, you think about criminal activity and so on. So cyber is top of mind, sharing tips on how to stay cyber safe and so on. Then you get to remote working operations and providing risk managers being aware about back to work planning. How to think about that. Do you have a plan? What does the plan look like? Are you staying engaged as possible with employees? Really being on top of all health, safety, environmental plans and so on. You think about travel. So I think being able to dimension that and communicate that the approach around that to the carriers in this market, I think is very important. We've got changes, as I mentioned, on the legislative front, that presumption of negligence.
Sean, could I ask you just to speak up just a little bit? I'm sorry to interrupt, but your audio is cutting out. So
is it a bit muffled?
Yes. So I think just to reiterate for the audience, I think a lot of one of the examples you were giving was actually cyber, and we actually conducted a virtual cyber underwriting discussion on our program just about 2 months ago. And you're absolutely right. I think the opportunity really, once again, to leverage our use of technology with that particular underwriting community is hugely important. But it was also really important for us to tell the story of how we basically mobilized about 17,000 people to work from home in the span of 4 hours. So I think that you're absolutely right that that's a really great point. So Sean, you want to try again?
Yes, is that any better? I haven't done anything differently.
That's perfect. Thank you.
Oh, it is? Okay, I'm not sure. I haven't done anything differently, but yes, cyber. So I won't repeat the comment around remote working operations, but really that's making sure risk managers have the plan around that for employees, and health and safety precautions and travel and so on, and communicating that to the carriers. We have changing legislation, as I mentioned, around presumption and negligence and so on. So risk managers need to be on top of that. And I think, my final point on this would be the need for risk managers to work closely with carriers where we differ in interpretation around risk and policy provisions. So we're thinking about business interruption or virus exclusions and so on. So I think that, coming back to my first comment about the communication, I think that's very important to make sure that, yes, we will agree in areas, but making sure that we have clear channels of communication around where we may have potential differences in coverage language and our understanding that in the treatment.
Yeah. Stephanie, any thoughts in this space on, sort of, especially in the healthcare space? You had mentioned a lot of healthcare clients, I'm sure, are really having a lot of challenges during this market just because they are right there on the front line.
Yeah, I mean, I think that one of the things that we found to be successful within Aon is, we need to listen, right? We need to listen to what the needs are. And I think that's where, if we listen, we can go back and look at what we have and say, can we work together across risk, health, and human capital and come up with something that will support that particular need of the client. And I think the one thing that I think COVID has done, at least in my organization, but I also think that it's happened in other organizations, is things have to happen quick now because COVID's ever changing. And in addition to that, I think there's more willingness to take risk and to try things. And I think that is, absolutely, key to moving forward, is to try some different things. And we may fail, it may not work, but at least we're trying to do something different. And I think people are more comfortable in that particular environment right now to do that. I do think one of the biggest issues that we're starting to have, and I think it's something that, no matter what type of job you have, if you manage people or you have teams, or you're just thinking, about your individual self, is that the emotional toll that all the changes that we've had to go through as humans around, COVID-19, it is playing a significant role in people's burning out, working too much, and rusting out, not being motivated. So I do think these are all things that, as we manage risk of people, we manage, risk for organizations, all of those types of things are going to be, pretty key as we start to look at where do we go from here.
Absolutely. That's a great insight, Stephanie. Thank you. My next question would be, what other technological changes are on the horizon that you see that will affect risk management? And I'm going to lead with Bob on this one.
Oh, great. So cloud computing isn't really on the horizon. It's been here for the last 14 years. Amazon Web Services was started in 2006. But the insurance industry is way behind, again, many other industries in adoption of this technology and others. So sometimes there's small projects, side projects, new projects that are done in the cloud. But core systems for claims, core systems for policy and billing, those are still on-prem. They're still mostly old technology. And they're still mostly limited in terms of how they can be enhanced and upgraded to better serve the customers and the distribution channel of the industry. So again, not an on the horizon change, but a relatively recent change that the insurance industry, I think, would really do well by adopting a little more quick of a pace. In terms of other technology changes, there are a number. I think mobile and the use of mobile technology to manage risk is still in the early innings. We haven't invented everything yet, but there's lots of experiments out there and interesting ideas. Telematics is going to be increasingly important for monitoring safety, and AI is clearly going to be a big part of the story in both claims and underwriting and automating many routine tasks. So those, I think, are the next set of technology. But the industry needs to start with the building blocks of a modern, extensible cloud SaaS infrastructure that can be connected to the rest of the industry. Adding new technology bells and whistles on top of an aging platform is not a recipe for success in this industry. And I think you're going to continue to see the insurtechs and the startups around the edges becoming more and more to the mainstream as long as the core of the industry doesn't recognize this and begin to move a little more quickly.
That's great, Bob. Justin, do you have any insights in this topic?
I do, thanks. So I think what Bob's saying is absolutely accurate, and I think it's also important to think of our customers and say, where can we help them take all this data and get to a point where we're sitting down with corporate risk managers and talking about predictive analytics and what is the telematics telling you, what's all this AI telling you, and connecting that data together. We're getting there. We're seeing some of that in experiments and pilots today, but really offering via technology, via platform, different forms of competitive benchmarking, but truly, embracing this technology and then really seeing what can be done with it. How can that change results? How can that keep people safer? How can that change moving from just reviewing what happened in a claim to truly, getting to the point of understanding why a situation occurs and how to potentially prevent it. So I think it's really an exciting time to be all of us be a part of that, and also partner with our customers around it.
I know one of the markets that's really challenging, and I don't want to put anybody on the spot, but I know that one of the markets that is very, very challenging is the auto market. And has anyone on the panel seen anything that they sort of say that this is something that is going to help the industry to sort of, price this line better, have a little more stability. But I think as a customer, it's obviously a little frustrating, but of interest, I think, probably to a lot of people in the audience.
I think, a very simplistic answer. There's a lot of different telematics solutions out there. I'm actually piloting one today called ZenDrive. It gave me my score 0 to 100 driving this morning. I'm at an 84. I was speeding. That's one level. There's no camera involved, but it's telling you what you're doing. How's your score generated? It's being shared amongst a group of folks at XXL, and that's one example. But there are many, and it's really about, if you're going to commit to telematics as a customer, as a carrier, what are you really going to do with it, and how are you going to take that information and make changes that are going to stick and matter, and that's where auto results will change. But it's not just putting a camera in a truck. It's going in many steps more.
Absolutely. I just want to remind the audience that we are using the chat feature for questions for our panel. So I hope that you'll come up with some real brain teasers for the panel, so that we can continue to have this engaging conversation. So I think the next question I'm going to go to is, we used to hear a lot about how digital insurance buying would center around blockchain payments, but that seems to have died down. Does anyone feel that blockchain is going to be part of the insurance buying in the future? Whoever raises their hand first.
Bob's shaking his head.
I think you have to ask yourself, what problem does it solve? And I mean, there might be some, but blockchain is expensive and still new. And, except for currency that outside of governmental entities, it's not clear that the insurance industry offers a set of problems that blockchain easily could solve, at least to me.
Right. Yeah. I think you're right. I think functionality, right? People have ideas, but then putting, form to substance sometimes is the issue.
One of the hard things about innovation in insurance or any place else is you have to dig through a lot of ideas in order to find the ones that have some merit. And there are and that's what makes it hard. So you gotta find and sort and think through it. Certainly we're thinking through, and there was a lot of effort in that a couple of years ago, but I think the industry is moving on.
Yeah. And I think another question that sort of goes along that same kind of line is, what impact is increased digitization having on the insurer's costs? Really thinking about the bottom line of, what the capital needs to be devoted to. Any thoughts from Justin or Sean on that?
Absolutely. So, I mean, there is costs associated to all these different technologies or data initiatives, and a lot of them can't just be absorbed by one person, the client, the broker, or the insurer. I think that there's got to be ROI associated to any of these, right? So it's extremely important. It's the most important to keep our insured safe and their property safe, et cetera. But there has to be return on investment for any of these technologies. The customer has to feel it. Everyone involved has to feel it. It's got to have multiple benefits. So that's one of the challenges is some things are very new and exciting, but you have to be able to see that return in order for it to take hold.
Agree, 100%. Anyone else? Stephanie, on the broker side, what do you see in terms of allocating capital to sort of improving technology and things like that? Do you see a lot of interest or sort of having to balance competing priorities?
Yeah, can you hear me okay, Jennifer? Okay, so I'm getting this abort message over here, so I thought I would just share with everybody what's happening on my side again. So I'm not touching anything, I'm just staying. So if my face is frozen, but you can hear me, then that's okay. I think there is a lot of investment and a lot of opportunity as it relates to investment in technology. And I think especially AI is something that we're looking at, more personalization, the being able to connect people with, value and experiences and things like that. So I do think that from the broker side that you'll see a lot more investment in different types of technology. I think that with any kind of technology, and I think probably we've all had this experience where there's a technology that comes out that has what I call the creepy factor. And all of a sudden, is this creepy factor something that is actually going to provide more value, or is it going to be something that, people will shy away from? So I think that as we start to look at technology, we need to keep it balanced. I think if there's anything that COVID's done for us, at least to begin with, when we had to get off the road, when we had to kind of change our daily routine, we were kind of in a different place to be able to get a little more balance between work and life. And now all of a sudden, because we've been working from home for so long, home has become work. And so I think we live at work now. And so there's just some different kinds of balances that have to happen. But I think, there's good uses of technology and there's uses of abusing technology. And I think that we just have to make sure as an industry that we balance that as we go forward.
Yeah, I think that's an excellent point, Stephanie. Bob, I'd love to hear a little bit more about your thoughts on mobile risk management.
Great. Yeah. I mean, again, as I said, I think we're still in the early innings of this. Our default behavior on business activities, I think, is we need a big screen, we need a keyboard. But as people are increasingly comfortable, not just our kids, but all of us are increasingly comfortable using our phone to do all sorts of things, I think we're seeing business behavior changing as well. So, for example, in the case of an audit or a self-assessment, do you go walk around a facility writing notes on a pad of paper, or are you carrying your phone and your iPad with you and snapping pictures and recording the assessment sort of as you go? On incident reporting, if you're a truck driver or a bus driver, are you waiting till you get picked up and back to a screen before you report the incident, take the photos, note the intersection, the other vehicles, any emergency workers, all those sorts of things? Retailer hospitality, again, those are, you walk into an Apple store and they check you in with a phone right in front of you. Why aren't incidents, small minor incidents, being handled routinely by apps today? I think big opportunity on that front. Remote worker monitoring is a little further out, a little bit of Big Brother. But if you're working by yourself, remote inspecting oil pipelines on a boat, might be helpful to have a way to monitor your health and safety centrally. Might be helpful to both you and the company. Claimant app for workers' compensation claimants, so they can quickly contact their adjuster, check on the next check due. These are sort of things that are just right in front of us that are being, where I think the adoption is really picking up and part of the future. And I think as we move forward with just these sort of basic ideas, the whole industry is going to begin thinking of new ways to use mobile technology to more efficiently get work done. So I think we're going to see this over the next 5-10 years in a really interesting way.
That's really great. I appreciate the insight, Bob. And I can definitely speak to the fact that when I started in this business 30 years ago, I know I look good, so no. Just to me, like the amount of technology change that's changed in that time from being like a pen and paper on any kind of desk job that you did to where we are now. But I think that also brings us to the question about sort of the next generation of our business and thinking about how, Gen Z really is a technologically savvy generation, and how do what are your organizations, what are you seeing your organizations do to really attract those younger people who maybe aren't necessarily focused on the insurance mode at this point, but may have a lot of that interest in innovation and specifically in the technology? Anyone?
It's a great point, Jim. Right? And the discussion around mobile and generation. You go to Asia, you go to Latin America. Everyone does everything on the mobile, right? Whether it's shopping, banking, leisure time. Everything is done on the mobile. So there's a generation that just thinks and acts differently, and so you need to be able to bring that creativity and that thinking into the workplace. And so that's something that we're very, very focused on, and making sure. I think one of the actually fun things about digitization is the challenge, right? And the conversation is, well, we've always done it that way, and you get the simple request why. And so that mindset, I think, is really incredibly valuable for us, right? As we're thinking about new products and services to provide to our client. And what's interesting to me about the discussion we just had on technology, we mentioned, that they're all great, but we mentioned each in isolation. So it's blockchain, it's artificial intelligence, it's cloud, mobile. Each one of them in and themselves is not going to be the difference maker. You need to be able to stitch all of that together and apply it at the point of relevance, whether that's in underwriting, to client, and so on. And you need people with the mindset to be able to stitch these technologies together and deliver a creative solution. So I find that incredibly exciting. And we're starting, we've seen it in our organization, they start to break down across functions. So, I thought you were an underwriter. Well, no, actually, I'm an analytics guy, right? And you go to the claims world, right? And I just came out of underwriting, right? And they're young and they want to change things. So you start to break down across functions, across silos, and you start to create different roles. Different roles that are starting to emerge, which is terrific. So I think the more that we can do to encourage the diversity within the industry in terms of mindset, in terms of background, is only going to benefit us.
That's great.
I was just going to add, my own experience. I have a pretty young team, and I like to hire new people that push and like to look at doing things differently. And I actually think that generation is going to push those of us who've been in it for a long time, to start thinking about things, about technology differently. Sometimes I don't understand it, I'll be perfectly honest, but I'll say, go, try it, show me how it, show me what the impact will be, show me how it's going to help us, add more value. And when they can actually come back and do that, then I buy into that, and changing. And I think that that's what we need to do, is we need to be open. And even if we don't understand it in the depths that, the younger generation does, I think it's a good thing to allow people to try and to look at how can I take this particular piece and bring technology or digitize it or use it from a mobile device perspective in a way that will actually help us be able to do better work. So that's what and I love that. I love getting pushed like that. And I also think boutique vendors, new vendors in the space that are emerging, that aren't, the big guys in the industry, also push us to start to look at doing things differently. And I think we need that. Doesn't mean they're always right. It just means that we could start to look at things in a different way.
Absolutely, 100% agree everything that you both have said. I have a great question from the audience. Why can't blockchain be the answer to the insanity of certs of insurance? And I would love to know your thoughts on this one, Bob, because we deal in hundreds of thousands of almost 1 million certs a year from our vendors, and we try and we're leveraging Origami for it, but I echo the audience question. Your thoughts?
Yeah, it is truly insanity. So the reason it's insane is, so I'm not picking on Aon here. Aon's I think the most technologically advanced of all the big brokers by quite a ways. But all brokers operate in the same way. They send out either a PDF or a piece of paper with the certs on it, right, Jennifer? That to a vendor, and those arrive to you. So you're taking data, what's on a binder, what's on a policy, who the registered broker is, all those sorts of things. You're turning it into a picture, which gets sent to either you or a vendor of yours that then tries to OCR, scan that document, pull the data off. Not a perfect process, and then automate from there. So blockchain would certainly deliver that information electronically, but at a great expense. But today, it's the reason we trust the certs is because Aon has their producer signature on it. They've got their license at stake, right? About evidencing insurance properly. So we take that piece of paper as evidence that Aon in fact has, or any broker has produced it. Why not just generate that feed as an API that sends data in automatically and skip the whole take a picture part? It's still trusted because it's coming from Aon or any broker. And again, I think we can solve the problem with just basic technology. But what the industry needs to do is to act, and probably to engage with regulators around easing any of those barriers that may exist as well.
Thanks, Bob. I really appreciated that.
Yeah.
I want to thank everyone in the audience for attending today. You can see the Innovation Award winner profiles in the special BI and Innovation Technology issue and on businessinsurance.com. You'll get a link to the on-demand recording and a follow-up email, so please feel free to share it with your colleagues. I want to thank again our speakers, Justin, Sean, Bob, and Stephanie, and the whole team at BI. They made this very easy. And I'd like us to get back now to the Innovation Award winners recognition videos. Everybody have a great day and be safe.
Thanks, Jennifer. You too.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Paradigm's approach to catastrophic care management seamlessly limits your risk exposure while ensuring injured workers receive the right care at the right time. Contact us today and let one of our experts show you how Paradigm can protect your organization.
Hi, my name is Norman Ng, and I'm proud to accept this Innovation Award on behalf of Zurich Insurance for our Zurich remote collaboration tool. We're thrilled to be honored along with these great innovations that are moving our industry forward and most importantly, helping our customers through their risk management journey. Our team loves visiting customers, and there are times when we wish we could be everywhere at once. For example, if there's an urgent situation that's time sensitive, maybe there's some type of change at a customer location, they're looking for a bit of risk insight to help them manage through it. Or when they've completed a risk improvement action and they want us to verify to make sure everything's okay, and a bunch of other scenarios. So last year we launched Zurich Remote Collaboration. Remote Collaboration is our video chat tool that enables our risk engineers to help our customers wherever and whenever they may be needed the most. Remote Collaboration is available on our Zurich Risk Advisor app for both Apple and Android. Let's show you what Remote Collaboration is all about. So I've got my web portal that our risk engineers use, and I've got my phone that our customers would use using our Risk Advisor app. I've already entered in the special code that I received earlier, and I'm just going to start the session. I'm sending video from the phone to a risk engineer. The risk engineer could be in California, and the customer could be in Chicago. Where they are really isn't a factor anymore. And I'm just showing this water bottle here as an example. During a virtual visit, we would guide our customer to key areas of interest and stop and have a good discussion about what might be going on. So in this case, I'm taking a photo here, and a customer or a risk engineer can take the photo. Once I have that, we can upload it to our server, and we do some fun things that are a bit more collaborative, such as annotation and marking up. So, as a customer, I might say, Norman, I've really had an issue with this, and I think we're really concerned about that. And as a risk engineer, I might say, well, what about this? Or what about this? Or do you mean this? Pretty cool to be able to do that in real time. It just helps clarify the discussion a bit. So I can save that, make that part of my report, and then keep going through our virtual visit. We have a couple other features as well, such as zooming in, zooming out. So the risk engineer can do that remotely. And a few other things that really help us, again, make for a productive virtual visit. In closing, we launched Zurich Remote Collaboration more than a year ago, and it really put Zurich in a position of resilience during COVID-19 and all the shutdowns. In that time so far, we've conducted virtual visits in over 47 countries in a way that we feel is dynamic and engaging, and I think our customers really appreciated it. One recently told us, "Undoubtedly you know where to look, and it's amazing that you helped us identify a risk from a virtual visit." So thanks again for the award. Take care and stay safe.
When somebody gets hurt on the job, it can be stressful because they don't know what to expect or how the process is going to unfold. And it's at a time when they need help with their care and recovery. So that's what we're here for. That's why we partner with our employers to try to make the process as easy as we can as we help with medical treatment and return to work.
For many of these people, it's probably the first time they've had to go through the workers' compensation experience. And so for us, building out these tools was a way to help support the injured workers and maybe reduce some of the stress and anxiety that's inherently coupled with going through that workers' comp experience.
Helmsman and Liberty Mutual can have a really significant impact on how injured workers feel towards their employers through the experience we provide during what's a stressful and vulnerable time.
All parties in a workers' compensation claim want things to run smoothly, the employer, the injured worker, and of course, that's what we're here to help with. And so the portal allows injured workers to self-serve in some ways that they've told us are really important to them.
It's all about information and making sure that you give that information to injured workers in a way that's very easy for them to access and understand.
We believe advocating for the injured worker along that journey of care and recovery is the best way that we can help. And modern tools that sort of make it easy and allow transparency into the process are increasingly important in this day and age.
For many companies, the key to success hinges on having the best people. So there's a real competition for talent. Companies that are more effective in attracting and engaging and retaining the best talent are going to have a clear strategic advantage. Therefore, many employers care very deeply about the experience of their injured workers. The better that experience, the more injured workers stay engaged, the better they feel about their employer and returning to the workplace.
It's an exciting time at Liberty Mutual because we're really leaning into digital. The Injured Worker Portal and the Work Comp Guide are part of a broader body of investments we're making in digital experience. We're so proud of the teams that have built these products for our users, for injured workers, risk managers, and we're so honored to have won this award. So thank you so much for recognizing us.
We're honored to receive this award, and I want to thank our claims teams, our technology teams, our customers, and our injured workers who all participated to get us to this point. Thank you.
On behalf of Helmsman Management Services and Liberty Mutual, I want to thank Business Insurance for recognizing our teams this year with a 2020 Innovation Award. It really means a lot to be recognized for what we're doing in injured worker advocacy.
LineSlip Solutions is a cloud-hosted software company purpose-built for the insurance industry. LineSlip has developed software that uses natural language processing to extract and organize data embedded in insurance documents. Once the data is extracted and organized, we serve it up in a series of customized Power BI dashboards. LineSlip Risk Manager is designed to eliminate time-consuming manual reporting, arming you with real-time data to make informed decisions with speed and accuracy. 24/7 C-suite ready visuals exhibiting the value of your programs. Instant insight into performance and risk analytics with data transparency and granularity. We have built filters running across the top of the screen so that you can drill down by time period, line of business, program type, carrier, and even broker if you use multiple brokers. All of the widgets are interactive as well. So if you wanted to take a look in this situation at the business that Willis handles for you, simply click on the Willis Tower and it will take you to the lines of business, trading partners, etc. Moving to the next tab, premium by carrier. This slide breaks down premium spend by line of business. Because many carriers silo their business underwriting units by line of business, it's difficult to get the full details around your trading relationships. LineSlip connects the dots for you. Use this data to drive better outcomes at renewal or to positively leverage difficult claims matters. The coverage summaries page. Think of this dashboard as a real-time schedule of insurance. No need for paper, 3-ring binders, or tracking via Excel. The details are at your fingertips. Moving to the next page, policy details. All policies are listed for all years. You click on the policy number and it takes you to the policy. Tower visualizations for layered and complex quota shares. LineSlip automatically fills the layers for you so that you manually don't have to do that. You can hover over a participation layer and it will give you the carrier details. Broker details, if you're using multiple brokers and you want to track who handles what, simply click on the broker in the left-hand corner and it will pull up the data that that particular broker handles for you. Renewal schedule, keep track of your renewals, receive notices or alarms, what's renewing in the next 30, 60, 90, 120 days. If you wanted to drill down into the actual policies, you can click on and it will take you to those policies that are coming up for renewal, year-over-year performance by program and line of business, so that you can see actually what's driving your spend. And then we also have year-over-year details. If you have any questions, feel free to reach out to me via email at lts@lineslipsolutions.com.
Hi, my name is Erica Cervoni. Marsh Supplier Select was born out of necessity when we noticed that many of our retail clients needed to source goods from suppliers that struggled to secure adequate insurance on their own. Finding insurance for these suppliers was often time-consuming and difficult. So we built Marsh Supplier Select, a digital platform which uses blockchain technology to provide coverage to third-party suppliers. Suppliers upload their certificate to the digital platform, and if they do not meet the requirements, then they are redirected to Marsh Supplier Select to secure coverage that meets our clients' needs. Now, this end-to-end streamlined solution is completed simply and efficiently, and our clients are able to stock their shelves with the products they need, knowing that they are covered. We are grateful to be part of a company like Marsh, with the resources to make an idea like this a reality. Additionally, this would not have been possible without the rest of the Marsh Supplier Select team. Mac Nadell, David Schwarzenfeld, Candice Lemond, Michelle O'Cullo and her marketing team, Dan Maluli, Laura Charest, and Marsh Digital. I am incredibly proud of what we have built with Marsh Supplier Select and how we are using it to help our clients. David?
Hello, my name is David Schwarzenfeld. I'm the Southeast Zone Retail, Wholesale, Food and Beverage Industry Practice Leader and want to thank Business Insurance for honoring us with this important recognition. Marsh Supplier Select has streamlined how retailers manage underinsured and uninsured third-party suppliers. It has become a business enablement tool for our clients. For instance, one of our clients, a big box retailer, can now seamlessly onboard foreign suppliers from around the world without insurance hindering the process. Another client, a food service operator, can now supply goods from local farmers that were previously unable to secure insurance. Innovation is the cornerstone of what we do for our clients here at Marsh. Marsh has made significant investments in technology to provide our clients with new insurance solutions that can best meet their needs. Marsh Supplier Select is one example of how this technology can bring value to our clients. On behalf of the Supplier Select team, we would like to thank the business insurance judges for this coveted award. Additionally, we would like to thank Marsh leadership, both locally and nationally, for their support: Julie Wood, Dan Aronson, Jeff Alpaugh, and Martin South. Congratulations to all of the Business Insurance Innovation Award winners.
my name is Leah Cooper, and on behalf of the entire Sedgwick family, I wanted to say how very grateful and honored we are to have received the 2020 Business Insurance Award for Innovation. And to the other winners as well, a huge congratulations for the tremendous achievements within your organizations too. When we think about innovation today, it's often hard to reconcile the need for exploration and creativity against the tactical demands of an ever-changing business. My team and I are extremely fortunate to belong to an organization that celebrates imagination and innovation. It's this approach that led us to realize that while developing a platform for the intake of new claims on a global basis, we could also open the door to implement new ideas that incorporate artificial intelligence, dynamic data dissemination, and flexible decision engines. All of that to say, thank you so much for recognizing the hard work and diligence of our team that created this new product, Global Intake. My colleagues and I are extremely honored. Business insurance continues to be the go-to source for everything relevant in our industry, and we are thrilled to be a part of the 2020 Innovation Awards. Thank you.
So I'd like to thank Business Insurance and the judges for selecting FM Global's Cyber Lab for an Innovation Award. You know, at FM Global, we've long since considered data as property. But companies move to more digital automation, industrial control systems, and networking. It's really property it's more at risk than it ever has been. But we still hold the belief that the majority of all property loss is preventable. And that includes cyber too, if you can understand the risk. And that's really where the Cyber Lab comes into play, and also why this is really a special award. You know, we've long since taken a science-based or research-based approach to loss prevention for traditional perils, but now we're recognizing that same approach through the Cyber Lab. Now, it's taken quite a bit of time and quite a number of people to bring the lab to fruition, and two in particular that I'd like to recognize. First is Fatih Karimak. He's one of the cybersecurity scientists, as well as Jens Alkemper, who's the research director for FM Global. Now, it's really their work that made the lab a reality, but it's also their work that's bringing the value out of the lab to help us protect our clients from cyber risk. So, to all of you that chose the Cyber Lab for our Business Insurance Innovation Award, a very sincere thank you from all of us at FM Global.
I'm Stephen Acunto Jr. I would like to thank you for attending the Innovation Awards today. We hope that you enjoyed our virtual experience, and we will look forward to the next opportunity to celebrate together. Thank you again to our esteemed speakers, our industry colleagues and friends. We are also greatly appreciative of our sponsors and partners who continue to support business insurance and the industry, especially in these exciting and challenging times. We encourage you to read more about the winners, to view the on-demand recording, and to follow the industry news, all on businessinsurance.com. Thank you, and congratulations to our winners. Cheers.